Last week, the Ragged Edge Rodeo came to town as Stadium Championship Series Red took over NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. The Black Pearl put a small dent in the nearly perfect night for Adam Anderson and Grave Digger, but with his smallest margin in Monster Jam, it remains the Todd LeDuc show as Monster Energy looks to clinch that berth to World Finals. We're back at Raymond James Stadium. This is Tampa, Stadium Championship Series Red, and this is Monster Jam. Welcome to Monster Jam. I'm Scott Jordan alongside Gravediggers Morgan Kane and our pit reporter Leslie Mears. Tonight we're back at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida for Stadium Championship Series Red. And this is the tightest race in Monster Jam. Only 2 points separate Monster Energy's Todd LeDuc and Gravediggers' Adam Anderson. And it's my pleasure to welcome Morgan back to the broadcast team. You come in tonight as the #1 ranked driver in Monster Jam. You started the season unranked. You've skyrocketed. You now held on to that top spot for 2 straight weeks. So not only do you have to worry about the drivers on your own series, but you also have to worry about the guys in Stadium Championship Series Red.
You know, I think every time you come into a season, you want to have a different mentality. And from last year to this year, I've changed it. I want to be consistent as possible. But I think that's everybody's mentality, you know, when you come into a season. And I think Adam and Todd are doing a great job. They're getting their points and staying consistent. And I think that's probably what we're going to see again tonight.
Adam Anderson on a hot streak, coming off back-to-back event championships in Gravedigger. We are all set to set you up for tonight's action at Raymond James Stadium. And we talked about this points race being the closest in Monster Jam. 2 points separating Todd LeDuc and Adam Anderson, not discounting anybody else in the field. But last year in 2019, they both won their respective series championships.
But you got 2 drivers that are at the elite level in this points season, and I think that, you know, they're starting to gain a little bit of ground. But, you know, you also have, you know, Cole Vernard in a really good position to be able to move up in points, and other drivers too. But I really believe that, you know, they got to stay consistent this entire season.
And you stress that a lot. Consistency is key to get that automatic bid to World Finals. This is Track Talk with Leslie Mears.
So some showers over the last 24 hours have tried to dampen the spirits of all here at Monster Jam. But our track crew is here to take off that wet, silty dirt off the top. And you can see it really packs well together. And it's about the consistency of Play-Doh. And that's not what we want for racing here on Stadium Championship Series Red. We want to make sure those BKT tires can really dig into the track. So they're using a loader and a dozer to scrape all that off the top. They've got the Harley rake coming in behind, and then they're going to pack it all down for an awesome track tonight.
Thank you, Leslie. Some muddy track conditions, a little different than when you ran in Tampa a couple weeks ago.
Well, anytime that you get a chance to run in the mud, you're not really looking forward to it, you know. So as a driver, you got to kind of change your mentality of going into this event. And sometimes you have to just slow down a bit and just be slow and steady wins the race.
Now your racing bracket here for round 1 of Monster Jam Racing. Our first matchup, El Toro Loco, Monster Mutt Rottweiler. The first career meeting between Becky McDonough and Brad Allen. A huge start would go a long way to getting you in there, and they come off the line pretty similar, but El Toro Loco gets a nicer jump.
Well, Becky's always been a solid driver in Monster Jam, but so is Brad. I think Brad for Team Scream has really been turning it up the past couple seasons. Had a chance to run with him a couple seasons ago, and he was really putting some great freestyles in. Not necessarily known for his racing, but he gets the win in this round 1.
Able to take advantage of the long straightaway. That was the difference, as well as that turn. So Brad Allen, Monster Mutt Rottweiler moving on into round 2. Let's take a look at the replay. Here is that turn. Becky having to slow down a little bit. Brad heavy acceleration. Gets a nice tight drift around the turn. 19.257, and Monster Mutt Rottweiler advancing.
Well, one thing you're going to have to watch for in all of these races coming up, especially in first round, is because everything on the top is super slick, and one guy that is going to figure it out really fast is John Zimmer. He's been in the business for a long time, and he really enjoys running in the mud.
Our next matchup hits Dragon against Lucas Oil Crusader. The last 5 meetings between these 2 superstars, John Zimmer has come out on top as they are now staged at the starting line, and Lindsey Wank getting off the line a little faster than Dragon.
Yeah, with Lindsey getting that hole shot, I mean, it's going to be the big advantage. But John making a little mistake right there, and that's kind of unusual for him because he's always really, really good in the mud. But Lindsey, you don't want to discredit him. He's one of the best racers in the game. Comes to the line for round 1 and gets the win.
John Zimmer having a rough 2020 in racing. He's known for his racing, has not won a race yet this year. Lindsey Wink, Lucas Oil Crusader moving on, and there's the mistake on the turn. The mud adding up there, can't get the traction in the tire, spins it out, and Lucas Oil moving on. Our next matchup, Overkill Evolution, with Mike Vaughters the second behind the wheel against Steve Sims and Stone Crusher.
Well, two privateers own their own stuff, and it's awesome to see them match up because, you know, Steve has been in the game a long time. Mikey has been in it as well, but not behind the wheel, you know. So I think we go back to seeing some highlights with Mikey in Las Vegas, getting probably the biggest win of his life. But it's so great to see these two match up and go, and Steve is just normal, calm, and cool, collected to the finish line first, gets the win.
Stone Crusher with an easy win. Moving on to round 2. Let's take a look at the replay of this exciting round 1 matchup. There's that straightaway. Steve Sims got off the line faster. Mike Vaughters playing catch up in Overkill Evolution. He had to take the turn perfect. He did. Stone Crusher advancing. Now Darren Basil, Black Stallion, staged at the line against Mr. Excitement, 2-time World Finals champion Jim Kohler in Avenger.
Well, one thing that you're noticing already is that a lot of people are trying to sling it into these corners, but the people that sling it in don't necessarily come out and are going away for the win. It's the slow and consistent. Just make sure that your tires are getting traction. You're not getting too far outside because every time you go through the round, they're pushing the mud out. So you want to stay on the inside as a driver to make sure you get that fastest line.
Jim Kohler accelerating some issues there. Black Stallion making a push at the end across the finish line. We're going to take a look at that replay, but it looked like in the turns, Kohler was able to hit the throttle a little faster, and Black Stallion had to brake. That could be the difference. And let's take a look at the finish. There's where it gets a little sideways, and by the edge of a tire, Avenger moving on to round 2.
Well, I like how you said, Scott, you know, everything's getting a little sideways. That is what made the difference right there. Jim being turned sideways a little bit put his tire a little bit further ahead for him to cross.
All right, inside Monster Jam is going to take us to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis. This tonight is a special night in Tampa, Morgan, as this race saves lives.
This partnership means so much to us as drivers. We love giving back and doing everything that we can to help people out. And Bryce has done such a great job, and he's this year's ambassador for this tour. And Leslie's caught up with him down on the track.
The Monster Jam family has extended its reach this year to include the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And Bryce, I know this is a cause that's kind of near and dear to you because you actually have experience with St. Jude.
I do, and I had a chance to go and see the facility and meet the families, and they are the true warriors. And so any chance I get to meet these families that are going through this horrific process, and I've been there. I watched my niece at 3 years old, Hannah, she got diagnosed with a tumor the size of a softball sitting on top of her kidney. And to watch her go through that treatment was devastating for us as a family. And so for us as the Monster Jam family to be able to support these families at St. Jude and get not just the awareness out there, we want to raise real money, real donations for St. Jude because it makes a difference. They don't charge these families going through treatment, for travel, for housing, or for food. And so it's time for Monster Jam to do our part to make sure that they're taken care of.
And an ambassador, you get to also have a special role in these kids' life, giving them that what you like to call commercial break away from all the chaos that's going on in their lives.
Yeah, we have Dionisio that's going to be with us this weekend. He and his family, he got diagnosed when he was just under 2 years old with leukemia, and he went through 3 years of chemo treatments. And this year, we're going to blow his mind with a good old-fashioned Monster Jam weekend. We're going to have such a great time. But to let these families know that we support them, we love them, and hopefully it'll encourage more St. Jude families that are going through that fight to know that there's a whole movement, a whole community here at Monster Jam that have their backs.
We will have more on St. Jude and how you can join the movement and donate throughout this broadcast. Right now, let's get back to racing. Gray Clips Mohawk Warrior against Hook. Bryce Kenny off to a great start in racing. He has a big win in San Antonio in this competition. Now up against Brian Wright, who got off the line a lot faster than Bryce.
I think this is starting to be that part in the race where it's starting to get good because the first couple pairs have went. You can hug it tight on the inside and hopefully, whoa, Brian, where are you going? I think as long as you can stay on the inside, I think you'll be fast because most of that mud's pushed off past this first round.
So a late mistake by Brian Wright in the hook gets Bryce Kenny the win, and a little exclamation point there for the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Here is where it went wrong for a hook as he hit the brakes and just ended up skidding all the way to the back of that track. Could not recover, and Great Clips Mohawk Warrior advancing to round 2 in Monster Jam Racing. And here's the guy who has been so dominant throughout his career in racing. He's a 5-time World Finals champion. He won racing last week in Houston. And when he gets on a roll, Bryce, nobody can stop him. And Jamie Garner and Overboard going to try to make it happen.
Well, Adam is one person that you never want to match up against when it's a muddy show. But, even Adam's really far on the outside, But Jamie's got this race coming down. It's pretty tight right now going to the finish line. Oh, Adam pulls it out because that's what Adam does.
That is what Adam does. And Garner, he's had a good year so far as well with a racing win to his credit. But Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, it is going to take a perfect race to beat him, especially on a muddy track like this where he excels. And let's take a look at the replay. They both turned pretty well deep in that track, but Adam Anderson able to accelerate it just a little faster and take that final turn tighter than Jamie Garner and Overboard. That is the difference, and that will advance Gravedigger into the second round of racing.
Well, as we start going rounds, I believe that with everybody running on the outside, it's going to start pushing that mud even further, going to open up the lane where people can start going fast. So I think we're going to see some time start to shave down into the 18 seconds.
Round 1 in the books. There's a look at your round 2 bracket. We will see tonight's debut of the Monster Energy and the Black Pearl. They got the first round buys based on their first round pass times from last week. So I'm looking forward to seeing these guys go at it. We are not done. We got a long way to go. Round 2 of Monster Jam Racing is coming up from Tampa, Florida. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master. Real trucks, real action, Monster Jam.
Monster Jam, this race saves lives!
This race does indeed save lives, and you can too by donating to St. Jude. Text the code MonsterJam to 785-833 or go to monsterjam.com/St. Jude and bid on some awesome items. And Morgan, you've got some stuff up there as well. So we're doing this auction, and all proceeds benefit St. Jude.
Yeah, all the crashes that I was able to do last year and rip bodies apart, they're all up for auction. We've got crew shirts, we've got helmets, all sorts of great stuff that's going to be donated, and we're going to make sure that all the proceeds go back to St. Jude.
And we will show you some of those great items a little bit later. Right now, let's get back to racing. This is round 2. Todd LeDuc, your points leader, against Brad Allen in Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And Brad Allen, one of the only guys or girls in Monster Jam that has a career-winning record against Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy.
Well, this season as a driver, you want to have a different strategy because you want to have that first round bye. Because once you get that first round bye, it's guaranteed points towards your overall championship at the end of the night. And Todd was fastest last weekend, so he got that bye. And Cole Vennard with Black Pearl was second fastest, so he got that bye. And now that's how they've paired into the round 2.
Todd LeDuc having no issues heading into our semifinal round now. A look at the replay. Here's where the race was won. They come around fairly even top with a slight advantage, but just takes a turn a little more smooth than Brad Allen in Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And Todd LeDuc, Monster Energy, heading to the semifinals of racing. Every competition matters, every point matters. He has to keep up with Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, Lindsey Wink, Lucas Oil Crusader, Steve Sims in Stone Crusher. As you see those yellow lights, that first one means they get to stage to the starting line. The second yellow means they are staged, then red will go green, and we will have ourselves another exciting round 2 matchup.
Well, this could be, the common case right here of lane choice right here, because lane strategy is a big deal in Monster Jam. You want to make sure that you're getting the best lane possible, and I've noticed that Lindsey has chose the right or the left lane. He started in the right lane in round 1. Now he's switched, but it looks like Stone Crusher is starting to have some issues.
Yeah, Morgan, this is going to be electrical. It's a dead battery that will keep Stone Crusher from racing. That means we will get another competitor lining up against Lindsey Wink and Lucas Oil Crusader. And for you new fans of Monster Jam, you open up the rule book here, and it'll be Mike Vaughters' second in Overkill Evolution. He was the fastest competitor in round 1 not to advance into round 2. So he's going to go ahead and go up against Lindsey Wink and Lucas Oil Crusader.
Well, I think this pair right here, it's gonna make a good race. Lindsey's a fast racer, but anything can happen.
Their 4th career meeting between these two. Lindsey Wink has won every matchup since 2013, and we see the turn there. Overkill Evolution getting the back end a little wide. Lindsey Wink did not make the same mistake, But Overkill Evolution catching up a little bit of time. The final turn as they come across the finish line. It'll be Lucas Oil Crusader moving on to the semifinals.
That final turn from Lindsey Wink was amazing. That was perfect. That's exactly how he should be doing it all the way to the final.
You can see the difference in the turns as we take a look at the replay. Mike Vaughters gets the back of that Overkill Evolution a little slower and a little wider. And Lindsey Wink been doing this for a long time. The ultimate opportunist, 19.259. A great fast pass for Lucas Oil Crusader moving on to the semifinal round.
Well, we're getting closer to that 18-second mark. I think one thing as a driver I'm trying to figure out up here in the booth is that, are you going to carry a lot of speed into the corner, or are you going to slow down and take that risk of being a little bit slower and going tighter? But, for me, I think it's paying off if you stay on the inside where you're going to get some bite.
Kovenard, the Black Pearl, getting faster through that straightaway around that turn. Jim Kohler taking it wide, runs that back tire into the trench box there. Kovenard taking advantage. All he has to do is slow it down a little bit, takes the turn nice and tight. And it's Kovenard and the Black Pearl moving on.
Jim Kohler looked like he had some issues going into that first corner where, he runs the spool front and rear in his axles, and it pushed him so far into that corner that he just couldn't make that turn.
There's a look at that turn, that back tire getting stuck just barely. Looks like he actually just barely missed the trench box, but still too wide nonetheless. Kovenard taking advantage. And moving on to our semifinals. Earlier tonight, we caught up with last week's racing winner, Adam Anderson in Gravedigger.
Honestly, it is a huge advantage being in Digger country because Tampa fans, they're Gravedigger fans. But the deal is, I'm going to earn it either way. If they think that it's because these red headlights, whatever that may be, I'm going to prove them all wrong because I'm going to put on that show tonight, or I'm going to race that race and take them out, and it's going to be fair and square.
Strong words from Adam Anderson. He can certainly back them up. 20 career meetings between he and Bryce Kenny, 14-6. So dominant, but he does get wide, allowing Bryce a little bit of room, and a nice photo finish there. It looked like Gravedigger had him by a tire length. We're going to take a look at the replay and find out just to be sure.
Well, that is one thing that you can always expect from these two, whether they're eating nachos or messing with gears and wrenches, they're always going to give a really, really tight race, and that's one of the fastest times all night from Adam Anderson.
Not even a full tire length is the difference in that matchup. So Adam Anderson moving on 15-6 now. Lifetime against Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Our fastest four are set as we move on to the semifinals. Monster Energy, Black Pearl, Lucas Oil Crusader, and Gravedigger for the heavyweights in this series, Morgan.
Well, one thing that we always get is a lot of questions at the pit party, and Bryce has the chance to have a special fan with him this weekend, and I know that he is one that likes to answer as many questions as possible from all the fans at the pit party. So let's hear what the question is from this fan.
What's up, Monster Jam fans? Bryce Kenny, driver of the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, but I'm with a real warrior today, my buddy Dionisio, and we're rocking your artwork on our shirts, on our This Race Saves Lives shirts. What about the backflip ramp? Does that look pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is it gonna be just a wild, crazy night? Do you want me to crash, or do you want me to stay on all four tires tonight?
Try to stay on two.
Two? I could probably try to do that. If I do that though, you gotta yell for me. Is that a deal?
These are the special moments that you get when you're at a Monster Jam, and you as a fan get a chance to ask all of us drivers at the pit party, what do you want to see? You want to see donuts, you want to see wheelies, backflips, and it's so cool to fans when they come out and they get our answers.
We started with 14, we're down to 4. Racing semifinals are coming right back at you from Raymond James. This race saves lives at Tampa, Florida, Monster Jam Stadium Championship Series Red. And we're down to our racing semifinals. Coming into tonight, the top two at the top of the leaderboard, Todd LeDuc, Monster Energy, Adam Anderson, and Gravedigger, just 2 points separating them, and they are both still alive as we're down to our final 4.
This is where Monster Jam Racing starts to get really good because the trucks are really tuned up. You've got a lot of temperature in them. It all depends on who's been running that same consistent line the entire night, and if they can find that dry dirt that's on the inside of that corner, I think they're going to turn a fast time.
Our first semifinal matchup is two-time World Finals champion Todd LeDuc and Monster Energy against Lindsey Wink and Lucas Oil Crusader. This is the second meeting between these two, with Todd having a win in Houston and Lindsey Wink getting down that start straight a little faster than Todd LeDuc. He's got some room to make up. Lindsey Wink now off to a big lead, and Lucas Oil Crusader hitting the brakes around the turn, going over the finish line. And I can't say this is an upset because he's done it before, but man, the brakes were just put on Todd LeDuc in his hopes for an event championship.
It's so cool to be able to see Lindsey get that inside line. I mean, Todd went into the first corner really hot, and it pushed him way outside into the mud. Lindsey was able to keep his composure and turn a super fast time. First 18-second pass of the night.
Just deep in that turn, as you saw in the replay, Colvinard, the Black Pearl, against Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, a battle between his former crew chief when it comes to the five-time World Finals champion. And now this race means so much more, with LeDuc being eliminated, the points on the line, the series lead on the line, and Gravedigger getting off to a great start. Adam Anderson now in the turn, Colvinard slowing it down just a little bit, but he's got a slight lead as they go into the final turn. Here comes Adam Anderson again, tight on the turn. Bernard's got the lead, but he accelerates to the end.
Wow.
And the closest finish of the night. We're going to go to the replay. Who you got in this?
Well, I hate to go against Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, but Cole Vinard had one of the smoothest passes that we've seen. He keeps it inside, was able to come out of that corner, and then just barely edges out Adam Anderson and Gravedigger.
Unbelievable. Back-to-back upsets. Colvinard, the Black Pearl, edging out his former driver Adam Anderson in Gravedigger. We talked about LeDuc getting eliminated and then Gravedigger getting eliminated now as well, but there seems to be some issues down on the track now with the Black Pearl. He's going to be taken off, and what a break this is for Adam Anderson and Gravedigger.
Well, this is unfortunate for Cole, but I mean, for Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, he gets to come back, advance to the finals, and that's where he's going to gain them extra points. You know, that all matters, and especially going throughout the show, because the way that you finish in racing, it puts you into the bracket for the skills competition.
And it is, in fact, a torque converter that will stop the Black Pearl from advancing to the finals. Lucas Oil Crusader against Gravedigger. You got to think Todd LeDuc is just kicking himself right now, watching Adam Anderson getting another shot at a racing win.
Well, when you get a chance to go to the finals, you just got to do exactly what you've been doing all night. Lindsey has been smooth and fast. He stays on the inside, but Adam might have a little bit of a strategy going in here where he's leaned the truck with the sway bars to the inside of the corner, so that way he can corner a little bit better, transfer that weight. We'll see if it works out for him.
Now here we go, our Monster Jam Racing final. Lucas Oil Crusader and Gravedigger down to the final turn. Adam Anderson so good in the turns. Lindsey Wink whips it around, gets caught on the turn tire, and some air for Lucas Oil Crusader, and your racing winner once again, Adam Anderson and Gravedigger.
Well, it's definitely intimidating when you come into that final corner and the red headlights are coming against you, but Adam is smooth, fast. He makes sure that he does exactly what he said he was going to do, and that's bring it home for these fans here in Tampa.
And the celebration begins for Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, another racing win. He improves now to 11-3 on the year in Monster Jam Racing. Here is a look at the straightaway and the final turn that won him this race. Lindsey Wink just gets caught up in that turn tire. Adam Anderson, the ultimate opportunist, getting across the finish line despite the major error off the race ramp for Lucas Oil Crusader. Now Adam Anderson moving into our second competition with a 1-point series lead.
Well, with Adam going last in the skills competition, he has some good tricks up his sleeve. He can do a great slap wheelie, and that'll help him gain more points towards the overall championship at the end of the night.
Two more competitions remain. We have the Great Clip Skills Challenge, Monster Jam Freestyle. But before we get to that, let's go down to the track with Leslie Mears and our racing winner, Adam Anderson.
Coming into that final round of racing, you know, we saw that Black Pearl wasn't able to come back, and then we saw your crew chief Woos head down the tunnel with the jump box. What was going on?
You know, and honestly, I hate to win like that. Cole Vinard, he was my crew chief for many years, so he knows all my secrets, man, and he used them on me tonight. And he overcame and won, but I'll take it, you know. It's about the trucks then and the crew. Who can get them going? Can they get them back? My guys got my truck back, got it fired up. The batteries are low. The truck's getting hot, running rounds. But when I knew I was lined up against Lindsey Wink, man, I knew I was going to have my hands full, but I knew what mistakes I'd made, and I knew what I needed to fix them, and I just showed them what's up.
And it seemed like it was the veterans who did well tonight because the track was slick. slick, and so you had to kind of stay tight in those corners so that you didn't get bit going deep.
It is. You know, I've been doing this for 15 years now, man. I've grown up in this sport. I know what it takes, and I told everybody, I said, rain or shine, especially in this mud, old Gravedigger never dies.
And not to mention, this is back-to-back racing victories for you. Do you feel like you've got your groove back?
You know what I do? The crew, they work their butts off. We had something we done to the truck. I didn't like it. Guess what? The boys changed it. We're going to hurt everybody's feelings for the rest of the year now.
A very confident Adam Anderson as well. He should be back-to-back racing wins. Gravedigger 35 now finally tuned the way he wants it. Looking for that event championship. More importantly, he is now the series points leader. 2 more competitions remain. Up next, it's the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Welcome back to Tampa, Florida. This is Stadium Championship Series Red, and we just crowned our racing winner, Adam Anderson, in Gravedigger. We move on now to our second of 3 competitions tonight. And some brand new fans of Monster Jam coming into Raymond James Stadium. And there's some playfulness going on in the pits as the series lead is now switched from Monster Energy to Gravedigger. The requirements for the Great Clip Skills Challenge, been the same all year, but now you add that donut in, which goes to change from 2019 to 2020.
Well, I think the skills competition is really tough because, if you're going last like Adam Anderson, you have to make sure that you have a bag of tricks. You got to make sure you can do 4 or 5 different tricks at any time because you might see 3 moonwalks or 3 slap wheelies or 3 bicycles, and you can't just continue to do the same thing if you want to win.
Our first competitor tonight, Becky McDonough, El Toro Loco. We'll see what she does for her first attempt. Remember, you either get a donut or 2 attempts at a maneuver on 2 wheels, and she's going to rock it into center. Here comes the first donut of the competition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm losing count of the revolution. She's got it on 2 wheels. That's some cyclone action.
Well, it's definitely a solid move on Becky's part because nobody has done anything yet in the skills competition. That's the first thing the fans see. It was a great donut. Hopefully she gets a good score.
6.930, so first competitor out. That score will set the pace for the rest of the competition. Here comes John Zimmer in Dragon, so you got to top the donut into the cyclone. As we see Dragon now moving it out to the center lane, he's going for the donut as well.
Well, he's got a little bit of an advantage now because he's got fire as he is the Dragon. So hopefully that'll give him an extra half a point for the fans. It keeps this cyclone going pretty well.
And round he goes. Now we got a bit of a mudslide, so a rotating cyclone for John Zimmer and Dragon. He will come to a stop. We are now 2 for 2 when it comes to Monster Jam donuts.
So I think the next move definitely cannot be a donut. You got to come out and do a slap wheelie or something, but that is solid. Good score from John Zimmer. Safe bet to make sure you're early in the pack. Go ahead and throw a great donut out there with some fire. Get some good score, first place.
Next up, it's Mike Vodders, the second in Overkill Evolution competitor number 3.
Last January is when I really actually started messing with it, and it's something I excelled at extremely quick. And all summer long, I just picked it up, and now I introduce like the crab walking, turning the front wheels, the rear steer, and I don't know, I'm just extremely comfortable when I'm on the front wheels like that.
Mike Vodders, the second, now lining up his first trick, trying for the stoppie into a moonwalk. Cannot get it on attempt number 1. We'll try for 2.
Right now it's working, and right now nobody on the tour besides Todd LeDuc can really hang with it, so I'm just going to keep doing it now, and if he steps it up, then I'm going to have to step it up. But for now, it's working for me, and I'm just going to keep it what's working.
Well, it's going to be really tough for Mikey to keep that going because with it being so muddy at this show, it's tough because the front tires just want to push out from underneath the truck. And there you see the second time it's done it, so it's really tough, unfortunate, but, I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast.
Can't get the traction there, so he was not able to back up the word, saying Todd LeDuc is the only one that could hang with it. The muddy track, the difference. A disappointing finish for Mike Vodders, the second in Overkill Evolution. Here comes Darren Basil in Black Stallion. I love the look of this truck, man. That Maryland flag just sticks out. Being from Maryland, Darren Basil, a great competitor. We'll see what he can do in this competition.
It is so cool how you talk about the truck because it is an old school truck with Mike Vodders. It's been in the World Finals a couple times, but Darren is no stranger to driving a Monster Jam truck. It's tough to see him not be able to get that slap wheelie because every single time he wants to do one, it seems like he can do it.
And the traction going to come into play again with this track. Here we go for hit number 2. Going to hit the brakes a little bit as he climbs slowly up on the freestyle pod into position to perhaps try a popper here. And he's going to go for the forward popper. Gets it. Wasn't able to hold it up, but at least he did get it on that second attempt.
He was at that balance point, though. He was able to get the rear up, and once he hit the throttle again, it came out from underneath, but he had that balance point. If he would have just let it come up a little bit more, it would have got him a good score.
Third place for Darren Basil in Black Stallion. This is the Great Clips Skills Challenge from Tampa, Florida, the second competition of the night in Stadium Championship Series Red. Brian Wright in Hooked, been around for a long time with Steve Sims, driver and owner of Stone Crusher and Hooked.
Well, Brian's going to go for a donut, but, you know, it's a safe move as a driver. You know that you can get a donut because it is wet, but Brian has an open front differential, so it's not going to quite give you that cyclone that the fans are looking for, and you can see it as a result in the score.
Now he just runs out of track as he runs into that freestyle ramp. So Brian Wright and Hooked, a bit of a disappointing run for him. Jamie Garner in Overboard. He has gotten off to a great start in 2020.
I think this whole team has. You know, the Overboard, Monster Truck Racing, Cole Menard is his teammate. They've been winning show after show, event after event, and it's always good. And just like we talked about in the donut before with Brian Wright, Jamie Garner has a locker in the front end, and he's able to really get as much grip as possible. And that's why you're going to see that good cyclone from Jamie Garner.
Let me ask you this, Morgan. We're seeing more donuts here than two-wheel attempts. Does that have anything to do with the way the track is laying out right now?
That is 100% why everybody's doing donuts, is because when you come into a track like this and the dirt is really, really greasy, you can't get your slap wheelie, you can't get your bicycles, you can't get your moonwalk, so it's really tough. And the only thing that you can really do is a donut.
Brad Allen in Monster Mutt Rottweiler. He is moving into the center as well, but it looks like he will line up for an attempt at a two-wheel trick as he finds the right obstacle for him getting on top of that freestyle pad and lining up Monster Mutt Rottweiler for a popper attempt. Cannot get it landed.
Not enough there, but, you know, Brad, and that's kind of surprising because Brad's been really good at it in the past couple years. He's able to really get the rear up, find that good balance point. He's in a great truck, great team, but that's just unfortunate. I think he might go for it again, or he's going to go for his normal when he does the popper off the race lane. He's been really good at that. It's been successful for him, so let's see how he does.
And that's the great thing about this competition. If you don't get it on the first, you can try again. And he's going to line it out for the reverse popper, trying to get the traction, and again, cannot get it lined up.
And that's honestly, with the skill competition, you rely so much on grip. And at this setting right now, with all the greasy dirt, you can't get that grip that you want to be able to throw the rear up and get that thing into a good moonwalk.
So as we continue the competition with a look at the Great Clip Skills Challenge Top 5, you got to think it's only going to take one solid attempt to get somebody on top of the leaderboard right now. Your leader, Jamie Garner in Overboard, 7.879. That is the score to beat as Gravedigger getting tuned up for an attempt here in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. More coming your way. We're live in Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium. This is Monster Jam. You're watching Monster Jam from Tampa. Scott Jordan, Morgan Kane, Leslie Mears on the call as we are well in the middle of the Great Clips Skills Challenge. And tonight, because of the track, it's more or less the Great Clips Donut Challenge.
Well, you got to make sure that, you have a move planned that doesn't require a lot of grip. And anything that we've been doing for the past couple of seasons with a skills competition is it requires a lot of grip. Slap wheelies, bicycles, moonwalks, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are having trouble tonight.
And unlike freestyle, where you can come out and take that 30 seconds and do a big jump and get the crowd up and get a good score, you have to actually do that precision skill here, and it's going to be a little tough, but you can still do a sky wheelie, and it looks like that's what Kohler is lining up for.
Yeah.
And he gets a sky wheelie straight up and lands it on the back two tires, trying to save it, and ends up on the hood and the roof, but still he gets the air, and that is a two-wheel attempt.
Well, you could see what Jim was trying to do. He comes out as he's on that bumper. He's trying to keep on the throttle so the truck will walk out. But the edge of that freestyle landing ramp, it just caught the rear tire, flipped him over. But it was still a great score.
Now, a night like tonight, a sky wheelie off a race ramp will get you third place in this competition. So it's anybody's game. We will see how Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, can adapt. He's got the name on his truck of this competition. Takes a lot of pride in it, but he's got to be able to back it up, and he is going to go for the donut as well here.
That's a shame because it's like we've already seen 4 or 5 donuts. We got to make sure that we get some sort of good two-wheel skills, because this necessarily is just more of a safe move. Drivers that just want to get by with this competition, get some good solid points, you'll go and do a donut, and especially on a track like this. But I'm, as a driver and as a fan, I'm looking to do something spectacular tonight. I would really love to see a good slap wheelie that rides all the way across the floor.
There's a good view inside the cab. One hand on the steering wheel, one on the rear steer, and that is Monster Jam 101 without to successfully complete a donut. Here comes Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy trying to get the series points lead back. Adam Anderson and Gravedigger with a racing win. Now a 1-point lead for Stadium Championship Series Red.
Well, Todd's been good all season, all year at really doing a good job at this popper. He seems to have it down, but it's going to be tricky with no grip as he goes down the race lane. So let's see how he does it.
Lining up here for the forward popper, and he lands it now on the nose, and this is where it gets good.
Look at the fans going wild in the background. It's awesome.
This is what they've been waiting for. They've been wanting to see somebody step up and do this. Todd LeDuc makes it happen and gets it across the track. So a great first attempt in the Great Clip Skills Challenge.
And that is a great first attempt because he has the next one that he could do the same move on a different obstacle and still wow the fans even more.
So it's nice and easy, slowed it up to that race ramp, getting the popper, and then it's all about that control, and he accelerated it and nailed it. So a great trick. We'll see if he can do it again. You got to think he's going to try to line up the same trick, as you said, just on a different obstacle. Now going high up on the freestyle pad.
And this type of stuff, makes me jealous because these guys make it look easy.
Slides it off. So he gets a nice nose wheelie there, sliding it off the forward popper. Not sure he meant to do that, but it looked incredibly cool as he continued to slide the front two tires.
I thought we were going to get a great save. He might have ran that nose into the backside of the big kicker. That would have been exciting.
Todd LeDuc, Monster Energy, the first to successfully complete two big hits here, and the score reflects that 9.467. Your new leader, Todd LeDuc, in Monster Energy, so crucial in trying to take back the series lead.
It's so tough as a driver to try and beat something like that because, you're sitting in the truck and you're trying to think of, all right, what can I do on a muddy night like tonight? And when you see something like that, it's kind of intimidating.
Big air. This will be a slap wheelie attempt, and he gets it. So there's no traction issues there for Lindsey Wink and Lucas Oil Crusader. The big air, the slap wheelie combo move. Nice first attempt.
Well, I've asked a lot of fans on social media and in the pit party, what is their favorite two-wheel skills? What do they want to see? And a lot of them are talking about wheelies, and that's something of an art that we get away from. And Lindsey just puts on a clinic
Let's call that the bounce wheelie, as he just bounced it across on the back two tires and lands it. So two great hits for him, and there's another good score.
Yeah, I love it.
Take a look at the wheelie at the end for Lindsey Wink and Lucas Oil Crusader. Almost had a bicycle combo move there as well. And there's another look at the sky wheelie and the bounce wheelie. I'm coining that phrase, the bounce wheelie, as he bounced it across the race ramp and then back down. We move on in this competition. Here is Adam Anderson and Gravedigger.
He's already got an advantage. He's going last. It's the last thing that the fans see. They've all got their phones out on judgeszone.com ready to judge this skills competition. Adam has been pulling some really good stuff out of his bag of tricks, and he does such a great job at analyzing the show and really figuring out what the fans want to see. So let's see.
There's a sky wheelie on the FMX ramp, so a little bit of freestyle preview for Gravedigger.
I see what he was trying to maybe ride a wheelie down the freestyle landing ramp. That was pretty creative.
Lining up again here on the race ramp and gets another sky wheelie. Going to try for the slap wheelie, and he gets it. Solid move. You said it.
Yep, I love that. I love that. When you can set it up and you see the wheel speed stop in midair and he does the true slap wheelie, that's exciting for all the fans. They love seeing that.
9.161 is the score for Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. There's a look at the sky wheelie, slap wheelie combo. And he added another slap wheelie at the end. He gets the front two tires down right here, pops it right back up, and just the wherewithal of knowing how to just get another slap wheelie out of that incredible Adam Anderson. Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy. He's going to win this competition. The first win of the Great Clip Skills Challenge in 2020 for Todd LeDuc, and he will get that point right back. Morgan Weir deadlocked at the top of the series points lead.
Well, it's nice because you got them two guys at the top truly battling it out, not even for this show, but for the season. And every point matters. We got to make sure that you're staying consistent, and we'll see how it goes, but we're going to go down to Todd and see what he has to think about it.
So Todd, an amazing stoppie tonight, and also a little bit of redemption. You lost a few points in racing today. How critical is it to take this skills challenge victory?
No, this is important. I had to. I was pinched there in the corner where I had to fight my way out of it. Adam won racing, and I'm losing points. I can't be doing that to win this championship. So I came out, I rolled the dice, and it worked, man. I got that stoppie up there perfectly, balanced it, and it was the hardest one for sure. To my career so far, that was the most difficult one, and I'm glad these Tampa fans got to witness it.
Yeah, and you got a little taste of what the dirt's going to do for freestyle as well. So how is that going to help you maybe get that edge over everyone else?
It's going to be unbelievable. I can already feel it. I want to get going. I want to get in my truck and get saddled up. But yeah, freestyle is going to be nuts. These Tampa fans are Gravedigger fans, but we got to pull them over to this Monster Energy side.
So Tyler Duke all smiles after winning the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Now getting that point back from Adam Anderson. 2 competitions are completed. 1 remains. Monster Jam Freestyle coming up from Tampa. We are back at Raymond James Stadium for an incredible night of Monster Jam action. The fans earlier at the pit party getting all tuned up and ready for some Monster Jam action inside Raymond James. Right now it is time for Track Talk with Leslie Mears.
Have you ever wondered where all the dirt for a Monster Jam track comes from? Well, over the last 5 years, Monster Jam has started stockpiling and storing their dirt at different facilities around the country. Well, here in Tampa, the area is part of the parking facility. So as a casual fan, any other time of the year, you wouldn't even notice it's here. But as you can see, 5,000 yards or 350 truckloads of dirt have been removed and put into Raymond James Stadium. But before that could happen just 5 weeks ago, a little prep work had to take place. 8mm fabric was laid across the entire field, followed by plastic, then dirt. Now, a few weeks ago, after Stadium Championship Series Green finished with their competition, the track construction crew came out and tightly rolled in the track to make sure that any weather that rolled in wouldn't deteriorate the surface and slide off around the edges. So, when they came in to prepare for Stadium Championship Series Red, all they had to do was come in and groom and shape the obstacles.
Scott, I had to deal with similar conditions last year here in Tampa, and to be able to prepare for the rain, it's a whole different mindset. You can't go fast. You got to make sure that you're slow and steady, and any momentum, it just is dead. You know, you got to make sure that you're just trying to go from jump to jump. I like to throw a lot of donuts in, act like you're out of control, and then just get as much run at all the jumps as you can.
Here are your event points heading into freestyle. Adam Anderson, Gravedigger 27, Todd LeDuc Monster Energy 25, Lindsey Wink, Lucas Oil Crusader, Jim Kohler Avenger, Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior rounding out your top 5. But the battle at the top continues between Gravedigger and Monster Energy. Now 2 points separating the overall event championship and a tie for the series points lead.
Well, the last event with freestyle, I mean, you got 2 of the guys that are competing for number 1 and number 2. I mean, they're some of the best freestylers in the business. They know that they're going to give you a great freestyle all the time, but it also gives you the jitters when you see guys that are coming in like Bryce Kenny. I mean, he's been throwing down great freestyles in the past. He's just got to find a groove this season.
Starting it off, hitting the first jump he sees, Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, now spinning the back end of the truck around, and he's going to hit that ramp. 2 jumps back to back for him, getting some nice air, so trying to find his groove, and a little nose wheelie action for Great Clips Mohawk Warrior.
I had a chance to talk to Bryce a couple of weeks ago, and that's normally after the first show when you get to talk to all your buddies and say, hey man, how's the truck doing? How's the crew? And Bryce seems to think that, you know, the shocks they could be better. You know, he's working on them. He wants to make sure that he's filling his 30 seconds. He's going to be very conservative, because if you don't fill your first 30 seconds in freestyle, you get 0 points, and it ruins your chances for the following week freestyle.
Everybody in this series trying to get an automatic berth to World Finals 21 in Orlando, Florida, May 2nd and 3rd at Camping World Stadium. Tickets are available right now at monsterjam.com. We'd love to see you in Orlando as we once again crown 7 World Finals champions, and Bryce Kenny would love nothing more than to punch his ticket to World Finals 21.
I know all these drivers are sitting in their trucks and they're watching Bryce run. The momentum that he's got going is great, but it looks like he might have a little rear steer issue going on right now. It looks like it's going real slow.
He looks like he's trying to get to the Monster Energy backflip ramp, so he is approaching very slow, Morgan. Here goes the backflip for Bryce Kenny. And look, the back 2 wheels just broke.
Kept it going though. At least he's still on all 4 wheels. That was exciting. You know, unfortunately, you know, the tie rod breaks. That's 13,000 pounds coming down on the rear tires from 10 feet up. I mean, of course, it's a lot of force, but that's one thing that you have to make sure that you do in freestyle. You've got to throw a backflip in there. Bryce did a smart job at making sure that he went to the backflip ramp when he knew the truck was broke.
And that's a great point, Morgan. When you factor in the G-force, it's 96,000 pounds of force coming down in one of these Monster Jam trucks. Let's move on to Steve Sims and Stone Crusher.
Well, Steve is somebody that always throws a solid freestyle in. He knows that he's got to fill his time because that's what the fans are looking for. They're looking for something that is going to make their money's worth. And they've got their phones out, judgeszone.com. And that's the cool thing about this.
Oh, he just loses the wheel. Just ripped right off of the axle, dragging that right rear tire back behind him. Stone Crusher is done for the night.
That is unfortunate because Stone Crusher team, they always have a reputation for keeping the truck together in one piece. And that was just unfortunate. It's just parts fatigue. I mean, these Monster Jam trucks, they do a lot of shows throughout the year, and that's just unfortunate. It looks like it's a Champagne, which is a major break for somebody that's trying to get back for any event.
2 trucks have run 3 broken wheels. More freestyle action is coming your way next. Tonight in Tampa, this race saves lives as we honor our partnership with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Multiple ways to donate. We have a live auction now, and we'll show you that here at Inside Monster Jam. You can go to monsterjam.com/St. Jude to bid on the items. You can also text the word Monster Jam to 785-833. But let's hear more from our Monster Jam superstars about St. Jude.
I think it's awesome that Monster Jam's working with St. Jude's this year. You see the smile on the little kids' faces and all the money that Monster Jam is bringing in to put towards the organization. I just don't think there's anything better than that.
I don't think there is anyone involved with our tours that will tell you this isn't a good thing. It's an amazing thing. All of us, families, friends, everyone's been affected by cancer. But childhood cancer is just, it's really rough to take and be a part of.
One of our sponsors back home, his son was 13 years old and ended up getting diagnosed with brain cancer.
To see a young kid having to struggle at that age when they should just be out running and having fun and doing the things that they want to do, it's pretty sad.
Our fan base is so much kids, right? So we really targeted a really cool setup to go with St. Jude because they know what they're doing. They take care of the kids when the kids are worried about things they shouldn't be worried about. And that's the most important. Kids are supposed to be kids having fun. I'm not worried about why they're in the hospital. So if we can bring a little bit of joy to them and help out the situation there, that'd be great.
St. Jude's awesome, you know what I mean? They set it up so that the parents, the kids don't have to worry about the bills, don't have to worry about the stuff. Just worry about getting better so you can have fun, you can enjoy your life, and do the things that a kid should be doing.
To have something like this to offer them, you know, free medical attention that they need is just mind-blowing.
This partnership obviously means the world to all of us, and we're all gung-ho for it. Try to raise as much money, maybe more than anyone, for St. Jude.
Being partners with St. Jude this year, I mean, it's an honor. It's awesome.
This race saves lives.
Now, I'm going to step away from being a play-by-play announcer for a minute. First and foremost, I'm a husband and a father of 3. And as a father, I cannot imagine having to go through with this. And I'm so proud that we are partnered with St. Jude so they can assist these families and help them get better and just live life to the absolute fullest.
It means a lot to all the drivers as well. And myself being an ambassador for the Stadium Tour Green, it feels so good to be able to give back and change lives because we have that platform to do that. So for us, it means the world to us, and we want to make sure that we do the best that we can.
And we are back at it now. This is Black Stallion out of Hagerstown, Maryland. And starting to try to rev it up a little bit here is Darren Basil's brother Aaron, of course, competing on the Triple Threat Series, so it runs in the family. You mentioned earlier this truck owned by Mike Votter Sr., who is a legend when it comes to monster trucks.
Yeah, this is a legendary monster truck, and it's so cool to be able to see Darren behind the wheel because Darren has been, you know, in all sorts of different situations. He was actually on the tour when we first started the Triple Threat Series in 2015. It was him and his brother Aaron were paired up, and we battled it out all season. He's a heck of a driver, great competitor, and he wants to win, but he also knows that Tampa hasn't seen a full freestyle yet. They got to make sure that they fill their time. They got to do event management and make sure that the fans are getting exactly what they came for.
A little history note here about Darren Basil. He actually filled in behind the wheel of Gravedigger 23. Let's look at the legendary names that have driven that truck. John Zimmer, Tyler Menninga, Adam Anderson, Carl Van Horn, and Ryan Anderson as a son of a digger, where they put the body of son of a digger on that chassis. So he's got that Gravedigger lineage in him. Even though it was brief, it's still a moment that you dream of when you want to drive a Monster Jam truck.
Well, he has that style, you know, like you might not see it right now, but secretly inside Darren Basil, he is an animal behind the wheel of a Monster Jam truck. If you turn him loose, he will put on the best show that you've ever seen, and I've seen it before, and that's been in a triple threat arena. Hitting the step up, we love seeing that, the big air, and that was the first time it's been hit besides Adam in the skills competition.
And that's going to do it for the freestyle run for Darren Basil. I think the score was a little low. He had some nice jumps there, hit some of the major obstacles, as you mentioned, that FMX step-up ramp. So I think that was a little low from the fans here in Tampa.
But we talk about it all the time, Scott. You know exactly what's going to get you on the top of the leaderboard, and that's a backflip.
And we will see if Mike Vaughters II can hit that backflip ramp in Overkill Evolution. It's not a bad thing to have on your resume when you've won a World Finals Freestyle champion. Not many drivers can say they have, but Mike Vaughters II has checked that box.
I was definitely going to mention that because this dude right here is huge with air. When he wants to go big, he's going to go big, and I really think that's really what made him win that Freestyle World Championship. He had tons of momentum, huge air, filled most of his time, and I mean, he's good at managing the show. He knows what he has to do. He goes through, makes sure he fills the 30 seconds, and then he just puts the blinders on and goes for it.
Line it up again for another nice jump, getting the big airs, Overkill Evolution, slap wheelie, another jump for him, so hitting them back-to-back, coming down with the nose, getting that front left tire up on the jammer, and he is going to come to a complete stop here.
You know, Scott, that's unfortunate because you look at that solid yellow light in the windshield, and that's what they call a remote ignition interrupter. That's the RII, and if anything's broke, the officials will shut you off. And that thing was solid, so it was something that's involved with ignition or motor or something that Mikey has control of.
The track continues to be a factor as the ruts continue to mount up. More Monster Jam Freestyle is coming up next. Come on back. This is Stadium Championship Series Red from the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Raymond James Stadium. And we've had 2 competitions completed tonight. We are into our third. It is Monster Jam Freestyle. And there is Cole Vennard and the Black Pearl, who won Freestyle in Houston. And this is the UNOH Pit Report. It was in this race that it happened, the torque converter issue with the Black Pearl. He had Adam Anderson actually beat him and would have gone on to the finals, but could not make it back, could not compete in the Great Clip Skills Challenge, and now the crew in the back thrashing away, trying to get the Black Pearl monster truck ready for freestyle.
Well, this is definitely possible with the crew that they've got. I mean, it's tons of experience, and with these guys, they can quickly change this transmission out. They just pull it and make sure that you get everything, all the metal out. You want to flush the transmission cooler, and you'll be good to go.
So, Cole, I thought that tonight was going to be your night in racing, man. You were right there and so wicked fast on the course.
You know what? And everything felt good. I actually kind of felt slow. And that's the key of like a muddy, slippery track is slow as fast. So I was out there just kind of trying to pace myself, make up my room or gain my ground on the straightaway, but take the corners really tight and nice and slow and stay tight and fast. And the only thing I cared about was beating Adam. And so I'm one up on him. We were tied, I think, before. He's beat me once, I beat him once. But now I'm ahead of him. So, yeah, he got to go in advance, but it's still, we both know I beat him.
So back here, just kind of a freak thing, the bolts coming out of the torque converter. You know, I saw you and your team working in really hard to make sure it was all lined back up. How critical is that?
It's everything, because if it isn't lined up, the transmission isn't going to spin and do what it needs to do. So you got to have it lined up to get the bolts and everything in and get the transmission properly put back in to work. I don't know how far along we are, but we're going together right now. So we shouldn't be but another 10 minutes max. So I'm probably going to be pushing it, but luckily I get to go closer to the end. So maybe I think someone just crashed, so that will buy us a little time. So hopefully the mud will be on our side and it'll slow the show down a little bit and give us more time out here.
We got a glimpse of John Zimmer taking his fire suit off to get his hands dirty, and a lot of you may think that's just because of that Gravedigger lineage between he and Cole Vennard, but little John Zimmer actually works for Jamie Garner. We saw him behind Cole working on the Black Pearl.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to see, you know, the second generation of a Zimmer moving in, because I mean, Little John has the dream to drive as well, and Jamie Garner has given him a shot to be able to be part of the team, and it's awesome for him to travel around with the crew and make sure, you know, he knows exactly what goes on 24/7 with this overboard monster truck team. But Jamie Garner has been
there's a nice jump there from overboard.
I was just about to say, this season, man, he has been airing it out and really doing a great job. That's the biggest air that we've seen tonight. I know the Tampa fans, I mean, right down in front of us, these guys are standing up, cheering, getting crazy.
Jamie Garner in overboard got his first stadium racing win back in Anaheim. Man, how special would it be to get a freestyle win? And he's off to a good start as he lines it back up, cross-threading off the side of the ramp, getting a nice clean jump there, landing it perfectly and swooping it back around as you see the back end of overboard coming back to face this side of the track again with the air on the step-up ramp, a modified slap wheelie, and there's a sky wheelie over the crushed cars into a slap wheelie. He is comboing it up right now.
Well, one thing that I'm looking at right now as a driver is that Jamie Garner's getting a ton of grip, and I think it might be because of these tires that he's got, and he's going, ooh, not enough.
Oh, he's going to try to save that there. Oh, thought he was going to go over, but he got a nice landing there, so that was close.
Well, not enough grip to be able to clear that, but I mean, still spectacular, giving the fans exactly what he wants to see.
Backflip, Morgan. He has never done this before. It's his first attempt at a completed backflip, and the bounce with save it. Come on, Jamie. He nailed it.
The fans are going crazy right now, man.
That is a candidate for the St. Jude save of the night, his first backflip.
Big step up.
And following it up with the sky wheelie off the step-up ramp. What a run for Jamie Garner and overboard.
Man, and he's keeping this momentum going. I love this. He loves this little hip jump here to get that full air, to make sure that the fans know exactly what he's here to do, and that's try and win this competition.
And he is definitely making a statement tonight. Listen to the fans.
He is. Yes, sir. We love it.
The super glue glued to the action replay. There is the Monster Energy backflip. Gets the bounce. Didn't look like he was going to save it. But, man, he got the save. And what an exciting run for Jamie Garner. He is having a night.
Well, we always talk about it as drivers. You know, all the fans will come up and they'll be like, hey, you know, what are you going to do tonight? That's the beauty of Monster Jam. You never know what's going to happen. It's truly unexpected, and anything can happen. Jamie Garner putting one heck of a freestyle on. And if I was Brian Wright right now, I would be tightening my belt before I start hitting these jumps, because you have to make sure that you follow that up with a full run and a great performance with momentum and big air, possibly a backflip. It's just exciting right now.
A lot of freestyle, Morgan, is very reactionary, feeling the track and reacting to the situation that the truck puts you in. But when you were able to save a truck like that, when you look like you're just about to be done, I mean, how long do you have to think? Is it a split second, or do you have a little bit of time to process it?
Well, it's pure reaction time. You might not even have a split second, because the truck will bounce up at any point, at any moment, just like that.
Brian Wright flipping, going to try to save it, and he cannot make it happen. So his freestyle run is over.
And honestly, man, that's really a disappointment, because Brian is a great driver, and if he has a locker in the front of that truck, he is able to save that every single day of the week.
The original super glue glued to the action replay showing the failed save attempt for Brian Wright in Hooked. And there is a look at your current freestyle leader, Jamie Garner in overboard, looking for his first ever stadium freestyle win. Currently on top of the BKT Freestyle Top 5. Much more still to come. Jim Kohler, Avenger, Brad Allen, Monster Mutt Rottweiler, the boys from Team Scream are up next in Tampa.
This is Monster Jam!
I love these Florida events. We get some of the best fans in Monster Jam. Josh Lee and company always hyping us up. Follow us on social media, hashtag Monster Jam. Earlier tonight, we caught up with two-time World Finals champion Jim Kohler.
It's a long tour. It's anybody's game. Points can come and points can go. A guy could get like almost 45 points in one day. I think 42 is the max. You could get 42 and clean house, and you can get 0. So that's a big span to jump. 42 points and a guy getting 0. So anything can happen.
Absolutely right. Anything can and will happen. This is two-time World Finals champion Jim Kohler. If you want to see him try to compete for a third World Championship, come on down to Orlando, Florida, May 2nd, May 3rd, Camping World Stadium, World Finals 21. Tickets available at monsterjam.com. Here comes Avenger.
Well, this is a major disappointment, Scott. First jump out, I noticed that Jim Kohler was a little heavy on the throttle, broke a rear axle. the right rear tire is not spinning with all the rest of them. No power from that one. That's why it's throwing him a little bit sideways. And Jim Kohler is one of those guys that wants to get the biggest air of the night, and without that power with all 4 wheels, you can't get the run of the jump. But it looks like he's been shut off. I don't understand why. There's nothing hanging from the truck. We want to make sure that, obviously this is a safety issue. We want to make sure that everything is safe on the truck before he continues. Looks like he's going to try and refire, and he's successful. Jim is a smart guy when it comes to freestyling. I would see him going into a donut right now, turning to the right. Yeah, there we go. Because then you're going to get all that power to the outside of the truck, and it's going to get you really going into a good cyclone. And really, besides limping around and just crawling over the jumps, is really all you can do.
Jim Kohler won it all in 2003 and 2011, 2-time World Finals freestyle champion, and he continues to power through here with the jump off the side of the ramp, whipping it back around, coming on the other side. Here goes Avenger.
Yeah.
That's the big air from Mr. Excitement.
This is awesome because this is true veteran driving right here, because he's slowly on the throttle as he begins to gain more momentum. He goes more on the throttle to hit those jumps to gain that big air that he's known for.
And there's another jump, cross-threading Morgan off the side. Nothing is stopping him.
This is really cool because, he's given the fans something that they haven't really seen yet, and everything, all the runs have been pretty much in control. Well, Jim has the potential to get out of control in some of these jumps because of this right rear being broke, but looks like it's going to cut his run short. I think the fans were happy, but the scores really didn't show it.
And sometimes it takes just one jump to get a great score. There is that one jump he got earlier tonight. We were able to catch up with his teammate, Brad Allen.
Lately this year, it's been the big step up in the middle and the 8-pack. The 8-pack's one of my favorites. I was the first one to do it in the stadium last year, and I've only got to hit it a couple of times this year, but I definitely want to hit that jump this weekend for sure. This weekend we're in Tampa. My family's here. I got like 50 people showing up, and I can't wait to burn it down. I went back to the shop, threw a bunch of new parts on the truck, made sure it was 100%, and I can't wait for tonight.
My Brad Allen, Monster Mutt Rottweiler, the pride of Detroit, Michigan. Now, we mentioned teammates with Jim Kohler, was a crew chief for Jim Kohler's 2011 World Finals Freestyle Championship run. Never intended to be a driver, but now he's in a seat making the most of it, and I've mentioned this before. I love watching Brad Allen run.
Brad's always put a solid freestyle on for all the fans here at Monster Jam, and he talks about, the 8-pack being his favorite jump, but that is the most wow factor that you can have in your run because, you have the potential to do a forward momentum backflip. The 8-pack gives you something different than the trench box does, and it's almost out of control, and it's really low to the ground. And Brad's really good at having all that momentum and nailing that last little trick for the wow factor.
Monster Mutt Rottweiler coming back around now, cross-threading over the crush cars and the bus, slapping it back down. And I think the 8-pack offers that shock factor as well. You see that bright green Monster Energy backflip ramp. Everybody sees it, but the 8-pack comes as a bit of a surprise as a nice jump for Rottweiler. The 8-pack sort of hidden in the track, so when somebody hits it, the fans really erupt.
Yeah, only your true fans know that the 8-pack backflip ramp is there. And it is definitely a wow factor when somebody goes to hit it because it's unexpected. But, when you're driving up to the trench box, the Monster Energy backflip ramp, fans go crazy. They get their phones out within seconds and they're ready to record. So sometimes it could hurt you, but it does bring that wow factor out. And if they have their phones out, hopefully you get a good score.
Monster Mutt Rottweiler now putting together some big air on multiple jumps in this freestyle run. He's lining up again, gets some solid air, lands it nicely, bouncing it off the track. And this is just a point where if you're Brad Allen, you start turning every which direction, trying to hit every jump. And here he goes with the 8-pack backflip, and he skies it enough to get it and lands it. So there it is. You backed it up with the 8-pack.
And that wasn't as fast as what he wanted to go, and I think that's really because of the surface being so slippery, but he made it around, got some smoke coming from it, but that's all the wow factor for all these fans here in Tampa. I know Brad is inside. He is stoked because he's filled his time, and he's hit the 8-pack just like he wanted to do.
It's one thing when you talk about it, Morgan. It's another thing when you go out and back it up. So he is now stopped. Monster Mutt Rottweiler hitting the 8-pack backflip ramp as you take a look to the original super glue glued to the action replay.
I think that score was just a little bit low. I could see him moving into the second place position, but you know, that's just the nature of the beast with these fans here. They're voting on judgeszone.com for the freestyle. Here is your top 5. You've got Jamie Garner with a fantastic run. Bryce in Great Clips Mohawk Warrior was able to hit the first backflip. That's keeping him in the 2nd position. And Brad Allen with a solid freestyle with Monster Mutt Rottweiler.
No change at the top of the leaderboard. Jamie Garner still in control. We'll find out if he can hang on. More freestyle coming up. We continue the night with more Monster Jam freestyle from Tampa, Florida. In 2019, John Zimmer and Dragon competed for the championship and Stadium Championship Series 3. Was there till the end. A bit of a struggle this year so far. Let's hear from Zimmer.
I could really sum it up in one word, to be honest with you. Terrible for me. It's been probably the roughest start in my Monster Jam career as far as little things going wrong. The truck just seems to be fighting me. Like, I can't get a handle on it. Every week, every competition, there's something goes wrong with the truck. We're fighting shocks when it comes to the freestyle side of things. The truck, even if I go remotely big jump-wise, it just wants to basically what we call rebound. So it'll land and it wants to jump itself all the way back to the roof. So that's really bothering me. I think this week, my crew chief and I, who I love to death, and he truly loves what he does for me, he's really kicking himself in the butt, and he just got after it this week. So coming to Tampa for me, I'm super pumped.
So John Zimmer using that word terrible to describe his start. I mentioned last year he actually had the lead in Stadium Championship Series 3 and was alive all the way until the last weekend when it comes to getting that bid to World Finals 20 a year ago. But this year, man, just nothing seems to be going right for John Zimmer and Dragon.
And when John talks about, you know, battling shocks, there's nothing worse than battling shocks as a driver, because, I mean, that ruins your confidence to be able to really perform at the top of your level. And it can be, you know, a nuisance. And for John, I mean, to be able to tame this Dragon, I mean, he has one of the best tools possibly in Monster Jam, and that's the fire cannon that comes out of the front of that truck. The fans and the kids absolutely love it. So for him to be able to use that as much as he can, he'll be able to create this illusion, you know, that he's doing a better job at a freestyle if it's hurting him, you know, maybe do some donuts here and there. But I mean, John is a veteran of the sport, so he'll have no problem at figuring out what he has to do in a split second to be able to make these fans happy and perform at the top level.
Now let me ask you this as we continue to watch the John Zimmer Dragon freestyle run up on the FMX ramp. Now with him getting off to such a slow start, we're nearing the halfway point of this series. Is it almost becoming an insurmountable effort for him to make that bid and get this championship?
Well, I do think, you know, it is in the back of your head that you want to make sure that you're getting as many points as possible for the championship at the end of the season. But for John, I mean, he's just got to focus on the task at hand, make sure that you're consistent, make it to the semifinals in racing, and then, you know, for the skills competition, get top 3, and then have a solid freestyle, throw a backflip in there, and that will get you the solid points you need to make that climb to the top of the championship series.
John Zimmer liking this step up FMX, whatever you want to call it. It's this brand new obstacle in 2020 that we're seeing on these freestyle runs. You got the one side with the step up, the other side with the big race ramp. And here's the 8-pack for Zimmer trying to get the forward momentum, and he lands it.
That was cool, man. That was like a great rotation. Didn't have to worry about backing up.
And again on the step up off the side, and lands that jump as well.
The fans are loving this, man. This crowd right in front of us is jumping up and down. They're super pumped. Throw that fire out there, Zimmer. Let's see what you got, man.
Now, as tough as his season has been, he does have a freestyle win back in San Antonio, so he's able to put some moments together. And now a donut for Dragon. Let's see if the fire comes out.
Well, he's feeling good right now. Red lights on, doing a last little donut for all the fans. They're getting their phones out. Judges zone. They've put the scores in. It's a solid score for John Zimmer. He didn't have like the biggest momentum like a normal Zimmer freestyle would, but like he said, he's battling those shocks, just working through it, trying to be consistent here in freestyle.
Speaking of consistent, Lindsey Wink, Lucas Oil Crusader now coming out of the stall and gonna hit the race ramp for the first jump in this freestyle run. The clock has started. 2 minutes now for Lindsey Wink to make his presence known tonight. Can he take the lead away from Jamie Garner as he hits the air?
Lindsey's definitely somebody that can put on a spectacular run and give you those wow moments that you want as a fan. And he always makes sure that, you know, the first half of his run is pretty conservative, good, nice, smooth, big air, and then that backflip is where he really shines, because once that backflip is landed, Lindsey like has a light switch and it just goes off and he is shooting to the moon.
Turning it around, coming to the other side, Lindsey Wink has made 14 World Finals appearances. You can join him if he makes it to Orlando by going to monsterjam.com. Camping World Stadium, the place to be as we crown 7 World Finals champions.
I love hearing that loud pedal, man. It just makes me tingle inside. I think once you're a fan of Monster Jam, you're hooked for life because you really feel the energy when you're at a show for Monster Jam. And Lindsey's given the fans what they want to see tonight: the cross threads, the momentum, the big air. And it's only starting right now. He's got plenty of time left to give them exactly what they want. The big cross thread. Let's see what kind of air he's getting.
And there's Sky, and it's showtime for Lucas Oil Crusader.
That's the biggest air that we've seen so far off of the big cross thread, the big kicker ramp. But Lindsey looks like he might be backing up for the backflip ramp.
Here we go, Monster Energy backflip ramp, slow and concise. He makes his way to it. He's going to get it. Come on, save it, Lindsey, up on the back 2 tires. And he is going to fall on the roof of Lucas Oil Crusader. But, man, he looked like he was so in control up until that landing.
A lot of people this season are having trouble with these trench boxes. I mean, it's a concrete rather than a container that will actually give. So we're still really trying to figure out how to hit it. Is it better to hit it slow, better to hit it fast? So Lindsey just had a little bit of trouble there. Unfortunate. He had it in reverse to be able to try and save it. Not enough, though.
A good look at the BKT Freestyle Top 5. Again, no change at the top of the leaderboard. Jamie Garner overboard with the run of the night, 9.726. Also, so far, the St. Jude save of the night. Speaking of St. Jude, this race saves lives. We have a great auction right now at monsterjam.com/St. Jude. We'll be right back with more from Monster Jam and St. Jude. This is Monster Jam from Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium Championship Series Red. And earlier this afternoon, the Monster Jam pit party took place where we debuted some of the auction items that you can get at monsterjam.com/St. Jude.
So it's a huge weekend for Monster Jam here in Tampa, and it's all about this race saves lives. And I am here in the auction area, Bryce, Kenny, Dionisio. So Bryce, tell me a little bit more about some of the things that are going up on monsterjam.com/St. Jude.
Well, there's some items on here that we're going to auction off, and every dollar that is bid on, or every dollar that is a winning bid at least, is going to go straight to St. Jude. And so it's our opportunity to raise more donations, raise money for these families, just like Dionisio and his family. But what's amazing is I've seen pieces out here that are going on auction I've never seen before. I don't think I've ever seen a Doomsday piece. I saw a Charlie Pauk in 2010 World Finals Championship body part from Monster Mud. I mean, this is just stuff that, as just a fan of Monster Jam myself, it's so cool to see out here. So it's going to be a really big auction.
Well, and something for you fans, a lot of these are one-of-a-kind pieces, like the Fire and Ice bodies that we saw just 1 year ago in Monster Jam. Those are limited edition. We've also got NEA. And Dionisio, what do you think is your favorite piece that you see out here?
The Gravedigger.
Yeah, the Gravedigger RC car. And so I know that was a hot item on a lot of Christmas, but I love, too, the This Race Saves Lives crew shirt. And you're going to be rocking yours this weekend as well.
Well, it's so much fun, too, because all of the artwork on these shirts, This Race Saves Lives shirts that I'm wearing, all the artwork is from St. Jude patients. And I really like this one. This one is actually from Dionisio here on my shirt. You signed that, didn't you? Huh? And what an awesome piece of art as well. So it's bringing me a lot of pleasure, just the fact that I get to rock his creation all night tonight. I know he's going to be with me up in that truck as well, but it's exciting to see it on all these crew shirts.
The other thing we want to mention, guys, is that these will be autographed by various drivers, and different items will go up for auction as well. So go to monsterjam.com/St. Jude to check out all of the amazing memorabilia.
Thank you, Leslie, Bryce, and Dionisio. Just a look at some of the cool items we have up for auction. Some of them also signed by Morgan Kane.
I think they're so cool, and my fan favorite is the wagons that they have. These are one-off pieces, and my daughter Everly would love to ride around the neighborhood in one of those.
We might have to have a bidding war with you on that one, or we can just share it, man. You know, we got 4 girls. We can just I'll bring it up to Virginia. You bring it down to Florida. We'll share that. But that is live right now. MonsterJam.com/St. Jude. And here is the 2-time World Finals champion, Todd LeDuc, in Monster Energy. We caught up with him earlier today.
You know what? Right now we have a 2-point lead. To me, that's not enough. But we're early in the season. We're going to keep pushing at him. We go out 10th in freestyle. I personally think the sweet spot's number 7, but let's see if number 10 works.
Now, he did have a 2-point lead. Now he is deadlocked even at the top after losing in racing, winning the Great Clip Skills Challenge. So the series points lead now on the line in Monster Jam Freestyle between a 2-time World Finals champion and a 5-time World Finals champion.
Well, Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy is always a great driver, always a great freestyle, but he better watch it because going wide like that, hitting the building, hitting the containers, that's going to give you a 5-point deduction, and it's going to put you even further behind your dreams of winning the championship, and Adam's just going to cruise away. But for this freestyle, he's got to make sure that he stays solid the first 30 seconds, hits a solid backflip, and then just goes crazy.
And he's going to line up the big air. There it is, Morgan. He is synonymous now with the LeDuc leap.
Well, Todd's definitely somebody that can keep a good momentum of the freestyle, but just really, again, you got to watch how deep you go in these runs because, I mean, these big airs that he's doing, they're great for the fans. Just make sure you stay under control.
Todd LeDuc now backing it up again, trying to get some more air over the crushed cars and the bus, bouncing it down a little bit, continuing on the track up over the jammer ramp, and now he will make an attempt. Thought he was going to go for the Monster Energy backflip, but I think he's going to clear it back out and come around. Here we go, Monster Energy backflip for Monster Energy, and he gets the rotation, landing it very tough, and that is going to be right on top of the container.
And it looked like on his approach, he had an issue with the rear sway bar, might have threw him into the container. You know, it'll be interesting to see because you never want to do building damage, and it'll be interesting to see if he really gets docked points for that.
Second place for Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy right now. Let's hear from El Toro Loco's Becky McDonough.
I definitely get super nervous before a freestyle, especially if I'm at the very end of the line. Like a couple weeks ago, I was last, but Anaheim, I had not been that nervous in a really long time. Anaheim was our first show out this year, and my arms literally like started tingling and going numb before I went out for a freestyle. And it either means one of two things. I'm either going to do really well or I'm going to fail within 30 seconds. And fortunately that night, everything went super well. We came out on top. Second week out in San Antonio, we were last with the stack lineup in front of us. I was super nervous, but at the same time, it's kind of comforting to be able to watch everyone else and see how the ramps are hitting and what everyone else is doing to know what I want to do and kind of just focus and get in the zone. It almost makes me that much more excited.
And she was able to go out in Anaheim and win freestyle, trying to get to the top of the leaderboard again tonight. Her first jump for El Toro Loco, cross-threading off the side, bouncing it a little bit. Nice save.
You know, she talks about coming into Anaheim so nervous, and sometimes that's when you put the best freestyles on, when you just don't really care. You're excited to be out there in a Monster Jam truck performing in front of thousands of fans. I mean, it's truly something that you can't describe. I mean, these Monster Jam trucks are unique machines, and Becky does such a great job at doing the best that she can to play that part as the El Toro Loco master.
Becky McDonough loves the backside of that FMX ramp, continuing her freestyle run here. In 2019, competed on 5 different continents, now competing for the automatic bid to World Finals 21 in Orlando, Florida. Lining it up again, some cross-threading off the center pod for Becky McDonough in El Toro Loco. Another nice jump. She's just hitting everything she sees in front of her, and now she has to hit the brakes and bring El Toro Loco back out to the near side of the track.
But one thing as a driver I can point out that Becky always does is that she rarely uses the brakes when she comes into a jump. She carries a ton of momentum, and that's what gives her that leap effect when she's jumping really far. It's nice because momentum is your friend, and I've always been taught that, and Becky does such a great job at carrying that momentum into those jumps.
Becky McDonough does not like the angle, backing it up, now going to send it down the ramp. There's some big air for El Toro Loco, bouncing it up and a slap wheelie. So a nice save for Becky McDonough, El Toro Loco.
That's a huge air combo, and it's nice that the fans are excited because they're standing on their feet, and they know it's ending a run.
And she goes with the backflip, Morgan.
Oh, wow. Her rear tires didn't even touch the ramp. She carried so much momentum, it just bounced the front end off.
Amazing run up into that point. Some big air, some saves, and then just could not get, you mentioned the momentum, but it just looked like she fell flat on the backflip.
And we're talking about so many great action moments here tonight, but let's switch gears and move over to the Monster Energy Action of the Week from Adam Anderson's Gravedigger in Houston.
A candidate for Stadium Save of the Year, possibly at Monster Jam World Finals 21. The bicycle save, incredible. Even with this save, though, he would not win freestyle. His perfect night was ended by Cole Vennard and the Black Pearl, who took the freestyle win, but a dynamite save, and that is your Monster Energy Action of the Week. Freestyle is not done yet, but the BKT Freestyle top 5 still has Jamie Garner in Overboard at the top of the leaderboard, followed by Monster Energy, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, Dragon, and Monster Mutt Rottweiler. We have yet to see the black and green wrecking machine Adam Anderson coming up, and can Cole Vennard get the Black Pearl back? More freestyle coming up from Tampa, Florida. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by Great Clips, home of the online check-in app. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. We are back at Raymond James Stadium for the conclusion of an epic event with Stadium Championship Series Red. There is Cole Vennard, driver of the Black Pearl Monster Truck. A rough night he has had after racing as his crew trying to get the Black Pearl ready for Monster Jam Freestyle. But right now it is Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, the 5-time World Finals champion.
Well, Adam's definitely got something to prove when he comes into tonight. He's got a lot of fans here that have followed this name for years, and I'm talking 30 years. And Adam is starting it off with a bang. What a way to start it off and hit that step up. That's exactly what you want to do to carry your momentum, but it looks like he's got some issues with the rear steer right now. Like, it's not turning the way he wants it to, but that's not enough to stop him to line up and hit this thing to the sky. This is nothing new for Adam Anderson. He's been such a great freestyle and an ambassador for the sport, and really growing this to where it is today, just like his dad did.
Back-to-back-to-back big air for Gravedigger. He will jump anything he sees in front of him. And you got to build the drama a little bit here coming into this competition as we see a donut from Gravedigger. He was tied with Todd LeDuc and Monster Energy. Monster Energy already run, sitting in second place. So that series points lead is on the line right now for Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. He has got to knock Todd LeDuc out of that second spot to keep pace.
Well, one thing is going through Adam's head right now, and is that Todd did not fill his time on his run, and he could possibly get deduct points with the building damage. So Adams just has to make sure it's a solid run, finish this run, and make sure that he fills his time. Get a backflip in there. The fans will be happy, especially because it's Gravedigger. He's, oh boy, he's got a
tire,
massive.
Man, that is terrible for, especially in the mud.
Oh no. Yep, but this is not going to stop Adam. I think it's going to make him drive even
look
harder.
At that cross-threading jump off the ramp, and on the other side, man, if he gets 2 flats, he's done.
He's going to definitely try and keep going. This is the ragged edge Gravedigger style that everything's been known for, but you got to make sure that you keep it
off the ramp, and he's going to try for the save. Man, you talk about ragged edge. That was a ragged jump. Couldn't stick the landing, but my, oh my, that is the black and green wrecking machine.
That was a wild crash, and it was enough to top Todd LeDuc from second place. It moves Adam Anderson and Gravedigger with an 8.925. That was a pretty crazy crash, man, and it's interesting to see how hard it threw the truck when he had that flat tire off that ramp.
The battle for the series points lead continues. We mentioned Gravedigger knocking Monster Energy down, so as it stands right now, he'd get 1 more point than Todd LeDuc, but the story of the night remaining Jamie Garner and Overboard. And this is Inside Monster Jam as we take a closer look at the Black Pearl and driver Cole Vennard.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Him and I, well, here's the thing is I didn't even know that he had a perfect weekend going, really. I wasn't paying that much attention to it because I was out, so it was like, yeah, whatever, Gravedigger. You know, he was winning. Cool. No, but to win that freestyle, though, that was what I needed. Like, hopefully now we can get this momentum going and start picking up our freestyle because we've been okay with freestyles. We've been hit and miss with them. So now hopefully the ball's rolling and we can keep our momentum rolling into this week and really keep this freestyle thing going. But I want to get going on racing and the 2-wheel. I'm staying kind of mid-pack, I guess, and I want to stay upper pack now, so hopefully we can bump it up.
And they were able to get him ready, so the crew thrashing away since racing, and here is Cole Vennard in the Black Pearl. Won freestyle 1 week ago in Houston, as he mentioned, ending the perfect night of Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, and here he goes off the step up and skying it for the Black Pearl.
That type of momentum, if he keeps it up throughout this freestyle, he's definitely going to have something for Jamie Garner, and it's cool because it's his teammate. So they're guaranteed to walk away from here with a win, and maybe Cole could spoil the party again and come out and make sure they're 1 and 2 as a teammate headed to the next show.
Well, this would be the first stadium freestyle win in the career of Jamie Garner, but as you mentioned, either way, he is going to walk out of here with a win, whether it's by himself or his teammate Cole Vennard. But Cole Vennard doesn't worry about that right now. He wants to get the win in the Black Pearl. Another good jump, landing it strong as we see the Black Pearl just navigating through the mud, coming back around, another jump off the side of the ramp, landing a little tough on the left side.
Every time he lands on the side, as he's turning into it, you know, the sway bars want to tweak one way, and then he'll jump and it'll be opposite. And that's what you want to do as a driver, is when you jump, you want to land on the opposite side just like that, straightens the sway bars out. And that's something that, you know, as a veteran driver, you have to know, because if you keep landing on one side, you'll eventually break that sway bar.
Continuously getting these jumps, trying to hit everything he can see. The Black Pearl had a rough night. He had the racing win in the semifinals against Adam Anderson in Gravedigger. Could not finish, could not compete in the Great Clip Skills Challenge, and now lining up for the Monster Energy backflip. He's gonna try to walk the plank here as he sends it and lands it. Didn't get the walk the plank backflip, but a successful backflip attempt nonetheless. And the container is in his way right now as he tries to get it back on the track.
But Cole Vennard did something really, really smart, and a lot of drivers will not do, and that's slow down when you're leaving that.
And again on the step-up ramp, nice air wheelie down the ramp.
With only a couple seconds left, Cole has done such a great job at filling his time, providing that wow factor, the big air that you want in a good freestyle. Light goes red, and he is finished with his freestyle run. His partner, Jamie Garner, is the winner of freestyle if Cole doesn't win this one. So let's see what the judges think.
I am amazed he was able to go as long as he could. And there is the score, 9.002, second place, as you watch the Glued to the Action replay from the original Super Glue. A look at the backflip, your freestyle winner, as you mentioned, Jamie Garner in Overboard. Morgan, this will be the first stadium freestyle win of his career. Excitement in Tampa tonight for Jamie Garner. Let's go down to the track with Leslie and our freestyle winner.
His first freestyle champion at a career high. One more time, Tampa, your winner, Overboard.
Jamie, last week it was your teammate Cole picking up the freestyle victory. This weekend, it's you with that amazing run, the big hair, the consecutive backflips. I don't know if there's a move that you didn't complete during that freestyle.
You know, we watched Cole last weekend do that backflip, and I thought, I can do that too. Adam Anderson did an awesome run. Todd LeDuc, Kohler, all you guys rocked it out for these Tampa fans. That's what it's all about. It's all about Monster Jam.
So here's the deal. We got to take a look at the video board and see if it's going to be enough here to put you in contention for the overall event championship.
Let's take a look at the overall event points standings, and it's Adam Anderson in Gravedigger winning his third consecutive overall event championship by 3 points over Todd LeDuc, and then Lindsey Wink, Jamie Garner, Bryce Kenny rounding out the top five. So excitement, of course, for Jamie Garner and Overboard, as it should be, but at the end of the night, Adam Anderson walks away going back to back to back with event championships, gaining some much needed ground on Todd LeDuc and Monster Energy. Let's hear from our overall event champion.
Adam, making it happen once again. Is the old Adam Anderson back now?
You know what? I feel like I'm back because I know Tampa is Gravedigger country, so I had to put one on tonight, and that's exactly what Team Gravedigger did because of you guys. You drive us to do this. Thank you for coming out year after year to have fun with us. But also, I want to thank this little dude right here for this trophy, man. Can I have it?
Are you gonna give it up?
Yes.
Actually, you know what? I've got a couple of these. Buddy, I want you to take this home with you and cherish it forever, my man.
A touching moment for Adam Anderson and Denisio. So even though Overboard didn't win the event championship, he still gets the save of the night. Morgan, talk us through this one.
So I think this is pure composure on Jamie's part. You got to make sure that if you don't get around on the backflipper, you got to grab a save. You want to just relax for a second. Then you're back on the gas to make sure that you bring it back on all four BKTs.
Jamie Garner in Overboard with the St. Jude save of the night. To donate, text Monster Jam to 785-833. The auction is live right now. Bid on these incredible items. It is monsterjam.com/St. Jude. All proceeds go to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Coming into tonight, Todd LeDuc Monster Energy had a 2-point lead over Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. They have now swapped in the standings, and Gravedigger, your current series points leader, by 1 point.
Well, those two are going to have to keep their composure if they want to stay on top, because there are some momentum gainers coming up in this point series. It's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out.
Another incredible event here at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. And Adam Anderson and Gravedigger continuing his hot streak. Morgan, now 3 consecutive event championships. I know it's difficult to win one. You've gone back-to-back this season, but how hard is it to win 3 in a row?
I really think that, you're carrying that momentum, and you almost don't even think about it, where you have your chemistry with your crew chief, with your mechanics, everybody's behind you, the fans, and I really think if you don't think about what you're doing as far as racing and freestyle, it actually performs a better show. And Adam's a great driver that carries a lot of momentum, and I think that I could see him running away with this point series.
The lead is now just 1 point as we get to the halfway point next week for Stadium Championship Series Red. The Race to World Finals is on. If you want to see your favorite superstar driver athletes compete for that elusive World Championship in Orlando, go to monsterjam.com right now for tickets and information. For Morgan Kane and Leslie Mears, I'm Scott Jordan. It's been a great night. We'll see you next time on Monster Jam.